All right, folks, good evening and welcome to the August 2025 meeting of the Omaha Public Power District Board of Directors. Thank you all for joining us in person at the Omaha Douglas Civic Center and remotely via WebEx. I hope you and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy. With me in person today are my fellow board members, Amanda Bogner, Mike Kavanaugh, Sarah Howard, John Hudson, Craig Moody, Mary Spurgeon, and Eric Williams. We also have CEO Javier Fernandez, Steve Bruckner, our general counsel with the Fraser Stryker Law Firm, and members of our board meeting support staff. OPPD's executive leadership team and subject matter experts are also participating in today's meeting in person and via WebEx. Additionally, we currently have 30 members of the public at the Civic Center and 13 attendees on WebEx. This is consisting of OPPD employees and other members of the public. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'll now ask a member of OPPD's physical security team to provide the safety briefing for our location.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back after a little bit of a hiatus. Hope everyone had a good month. We'll run through a quick safety briefing. We can see it on the screens. We want to make sure that everyone understands that there is fire suppression, first aid, and AED equipment here in the room with us. We also have emergency exits on either end of the room. If we need any type of assistance, we also have some extra first aid equipment in the back too, so just get a hold of us, and there's also deputies here that can help as well. So if in the event of any type of evacuation, we would use these emergency exits to exit the building, and then we'd congregate outside where we'd make sure everyone was safe. In the event of a severe weather type of situation, we would use those same stairwells, go down into the garage area where there is a tornado shelter. Luckily, I don't think that's going to be any concern for this evening. Just some reminders, do not use the elevators if there's any fire. And if anybody has any medical conditions or whatnot, please let your neighbor know or someone know. So in case you do have an incident, then we can get you help as quickly as possible. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Have a great meeting.
All right, thanks, Josh. Let's run through our guidelines for the conduct of the meeting. This regular board meeting will follow the agenda made available to the public on OPPD.com. This meeting is being conducted in person with WebEx conferencing and is being recorded. Our board meetings have public comment periods on the agenda. Comments made by all parties during the meeting are a part of the official public record. After the introduction of action items, board members will ask clarifying questions of staff, and then I'll ask for public comment. After public comment, the board will conduct its discussion of the matter and then vote. Also, before we adjourn, there will be an opportunity to comment on any other matters of district business. We'll take comments in the room first and then via WebEx. For in-person attendees, if you wish to make a comment, please line up behind the microphone. Please state your name, address, and the name of any organization or person you represent. Each individual will be allotted 3 minutes per matter pending. To assist you, we'll use the timer that is in the room. Ms. Lane will signal you when you have 30 seconds remaining, as well as when time is up. If you have written materials, please deliver them to Ms. Lane. For WebEx attendees, if you wish to make a comment, please send the meeting host a message using the chat feature or utilize the hand raise feature. Detailed instructions can be found on the OPPD website at the link shown on the screen. When I call on a member of the public to speak, please affirm that we can hear you before commencing with your comments. Please state your name, address, and the name of any organization or person you represent. Each individual online will be allotted 3 minutes per matter pending. To assist you, we'll use a timer on the screen and signal you when 30 seconds remain, as well as when the time is up. If you have written materials, please email them to corporatesecretary@oppd.com and they'll be received on our behalf. For all attendees, please direct your comments to me. I'll either respond to you directly or defer response to another board member or officer of the district. The board values and welcomes civil, respectful, clear, and concise communication from the public. During public comments, speakers should refrain from repetitious, profane, or irrelevant comments. Speakers shall refrain from pulling the board as such vote is not on the agenda and is prohibited by law. Ms. Lane, will you take the roll?
Director Bogner.
Here.
Director Kavanaugh.
Here.
Director Core.
Here.
Director Howard. Here. Director Hudson.
Here.
Director Moody.
Here.
Director Spurgeon.
Here.
Director Williams.
Here.
Notice of the time and place of this meeting was publicized by notifying the area news media, by notifying the Omaha World Herald and Nebraska Press Association, OPPD outlets, newsletter, OPPD.com, and social media, by displaying such notice on the arcade level of Energy Plaza, and by emailing such notice to each of the district's directors on August 15, 2025. A copy of the proposed agenda for this meeting has been maintained on a current basis and is readily available for public inspection in the office of the district's corporate secretary. Additionally, a copy of the Open Meetings Act. Oh. Is that better? Do you want me to start over? No, okay. A copy of the proposed agenda for this meeting has been maintained on a current basis and is readily available for public inspection in the office of the district's corporate secretary. Additionally, a copy of the Open Meetings Act is available for inspection on OPPD.com and in the meeting room. The consent agenda items are as follows. Item 6, approval of the May and June 2025 financial reports, June 2025 meeting minutes, and the August 21, 2025 agenda. Item 7, regulatory accounting for 2025 storm costs, resolution number 6719. Item 8, amendment to resolution number 1788's definition of investment securities, resolution number 6720. Item 9, debt retirement reserve account, resolution number 6721. Item 10, SD6 safety policy revision, resolution number 6722. Item 11, the Sarpy County Station and Jones Street Station generator rewinds, engineer certificate to negotiate, resolution number 6723.
Thank you. If there are no corrections, changes, or additions to consent agenda items, I need a motion and a second to approve them.
So move.
Second.
We discussed these action items at the all committees meeting on Tuesday, August 19th. Do any members of the public in the room have comments on these consent agenda items? If you would like to make a comment, please come to the podium. Okay, seeing none, do any members of the public on WebEx have a comment? Please send a chat to the meeting host or use the hand raise feature in WebEx. Telephone users can press *3 to raise their hand. All right, no comments online. Ms. Lane, would you take the roll?
Wagner,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Core,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Booty,
Yes.
Spurgeon,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. The first discussion, let me go to second. The first board discussion action item is RFP 6196, Cast to Sarpy Transmission Construction Project Labor Contract Award, Resolution number 6724. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Omaha Public Power District that the proposal of Brink Construction, Inc. in the amount of $26,690,523.92 for the procurement of construction services to construct and modify the transmission lines pursuant to request for proposal number 6196 is hereby accepted, and the form of payment and performance bond of such bidder is approved.
I move that we accept this resolution as stated.
Thank you. We need a second for this. Is there a second?
Second.
Great, thank you. This project has been publicly presented several times in the past, and it's been moving along very successfully. We have had public engagement online and in person, and this project is crucial for both reliability and to accommodate growth and demand in our service territory. Information has been presented to the board, and at this time, we're just looking to award the contract to move forward with the construction of the project. This item was presented to the Systems Committee, where I am the chair. But through my professional work, I've been involved in other public infrastructure projects in this area, and I will continue to be involved in the future. So to avoid any perception of conflict, I'm going to abstain from this vote, but I believe it is a good project for the district. And if any directors have any clarifying questions about the work that's outlined in the recommendation, I believe staff's available to answer. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Are there any members of the public in the room that have comment on this action item? If you do, please come to the podium. All right, seeing none. Ms. Lane, is there anyone online that might have a comment? Okay, thank you. I think we'll continue on unless any directors have anything else to say about it. Okay. Then Ms. Lane, can you please take the roll?
Wagner,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Core,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Spurgeon,
Yes.
and Williams.
Abstain.
Motion carries 7-0. The second discussion action item is Corporate Officer Performance Reviews and Compensation Adjustments, Resolution Number 6725. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Omaha Public Power District that the compensation adjustments for Vice Presidents Kathleen W. Brown, Timothy D. McAravy, Mikkel V. Purnell, Scott M. Foch, Troy R. Vi, Clifford V. Fleener, and Gina M. Langle, as set forth on Exhibit A attached here too, are hereby approved.
I move we approve this resolution.
All right, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
As Vice President of the board and as one of the customer owners of OPPD, I want to take this opportunity to a little more fully introduce the members of the executive leadership team to you, plural, you, our fellow customer owners in the 13-county OPPD district. This is your leadership team. Chief Information Officer and Vice President of Technology and Security, Kate W. Brown. Ms. Brown is responsible for the continuing evolution of OPPD's technology and security in alignment with OPPD's goal of being a digital utility of the future. This is through building technology solutions and capabilities that support our employees and customers while keeping OPPD's information, data, and facilities safe, secure, and reliable. We are launching an advanced metering infrastructure. This particular project has 5, I think 5 is the right number, digital platforms that will assist customers, assist our employees, assist the district generally, and these require careful cross-functional teamwork. And this has been a big responsibility for Ms. Brown. Vice President of Customer Service and Public Affairs is Tim McAravy. Mr. McAravy is responsible for leading customer sales and service, energy product development and marketing, customer experience, and customer operations. He also oversees OPPD's corporate brand, as well as corporate communications, social media, community outreach and education, market research, data segmentation, economic development. That's a really big one. Perhaps for understandable reasons, OPPD is kind of in the middle of that in our footprint, and legislative affairs. We would like to think that everybody has OPPD's and its customer owners' best interests at heart. Sometimes that is true at the state level, sometimes maybe not so much. So anyway, he oversees that and keeps us informed. Then there's Vice President of Human Capital, Mikkel Purnell. Ms. Purnell is responsible for defining and executing a long-term vision for OPPD's workforce. She provides strategic leadership across all facets of human resources, ensuring the district attracts, develops, and retains talent to support its mission of delivering affordable, reliable, and environmentally responsible energy services. Under her guidance, OPPD continues to advance a resilient, future-ready workforce while maintaining a strong corporate culture that prioritizes employee engagement, development, and well-being. Additionally, she oversees labor relations, including the administration and negotiation of bargaining unit contracts, reinforcing a collaborative workplace. A big job, and she does it beautifully. Corporate Strategy and Governance Vice President, Scott M. Foch. Mr. Foch is accountable for continuous improvement, corporate audit, that's making sure that OPPD's internal processes are clean, clear, and efficient. Corporate governance, that's helping the board keep on task with our governance responsibilities. Enterprise risk management, OPPD faces quite a few. Innovation, legal operations, nuclear oversight, and strategic planning. I think the tendrils of his work go throughout the whole company. Chief Operating Officer and Vice President of Utility Operations, Troy R. Vi. Mr. Vi oversees operations, engineering, asset management, work management, nuclear decommissioning, construction and maintenance of the generation, of the transmission, and of the distribution systems within the Omaha Public Power District. Mr. Vi and his teams ensure that the district safely and reliably produces and distributes electricity to eastern Nebraska communities. His team manages the electrical grid, restores power in outages, constructs new infrastructure to serve growth, and operates and maintains the district's generation plants. This likely describes the functions that most customer owners associate with the work of a utility. It's certainly outward facing to the public. Next, we have Vice President, Sustainability and Environmental Affairs, Cliff Fleener. Mr. Fleener was hired to our fleet of professionals in 2023 to help OPPD focus even more fully on environmental stewardship and sustainability. Prior to joining OPPD, Mr. Fleener served as the Global Director of Environmental Responsibility for another company in our footprint, Valmont Industries. He is responsible for developing and implementing utility-wide environmental compliance, risk management, and sustainability strategies, programs, and standards. Vice President of Safety and Facilities, Gina Langle. Ms. Langle is a registered professional engineer with more than 30 years of experience in natural gas, water, and electric utilities. In her current role, Ms. Langle is responsible for embedding a culture of safety into everything OPPD does. This includes ensuring the safety of employees and subcontractors, buildings, and resources, as well as preparing and developing plans to deliver essential OPPD service during emergency events. Now, that's all you see on the screen, but I can't leave without also introducing Mr. Brad Underwood, Chief Financial Officer and Vice President of Financial Services. He's not included on this slide because his compensation was adjusted when he assumed the position of Chief Financial Officer earlier this year. But I can't leave him out of the introductions. Prior to his advancement to Chief Financial Officer, he was serving as Vice President of Systems Transformation and now leads both areas of the organization in one integrated team. Mr. Underwood is responsible for planning, organizing, directing, and controlling financial affairs and ensuring the financial soundness of OPPD. He oversees the corporate staff functions of financial planning and analysis, treasury, accounting, energy marketing and trading, and he has quite a team there. Resource planning, power supply contracting, transmission and distribution planning, as well as supply chain management and transportation fleet. Customer owners, your members of your executive leadership team have huge burdens of responsibility in making OPPD deliver on its mission to provide affordable, reliable, and environmentally sensitive energy services to our customer owners. It is magic when you and I flip the light switch. They and the people they lead are the ones who make the magic happen. They can and do execute as well as they do because besides their subject matter expertise, they have significant skills in leading, guiding, supervising, and encouraging the fine people who work in their business units. And because they live OPPD's core values. We have a passion to serve. We honor our community. We care about each other. And with that, I will send it back to you, Chair Core, for further discussion.
Thank you very much for those comments. Is there anybody else that'd like to make a comment on the board? Director Mooney, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Chair Core. I had a sidebar conversation with a colleague on Tuesday between when we had a brief break in our meeting, and we talked about how, for me anyway, since 2017 when I joined this board, now more than ever this organization is growing. The industry is as complex as it's ever been, and I think it's fair to say that this leadership team is under greater pressure than I've seen since I joined the board in 2017. And for me, what that means is we need good people in these roles, quite simply. Not just good, but great people. And I believe that we have a great team in front of us. And every year when we get the opportunity to talk about this team, I generally say the same thing, which is we need to retain them. This is a relatively modest investment, in my opinion, in a really exceptional leadership team that we need in front of us, taking us through this transition. So I'm happy to support them. I'm happy to support them in this way. And I appreciate the work that they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other directors? Director Williams?
Yeah, I would like to echo and show appreciation for the work that our executive leadership team has done over recent years and specifically in the last year. They are literally doing more with less. Through some reorganization within OPPD, we have fewer total executives this year, and business units have been combined to provide efficiency within the organization. And each member of the ELT has stepped up to make sure that we continue to meet the mission that our customer owners expect from us. And so I want to specifically thank the people who have taken on new responsibilities within the last year, seen adjustments in their role. That's critical to the ongoing success at OPPD. But the entire team has done a great job. Again, I think Craig highlighted retention of the people we have in these roles is critical to continued success at OPPD. So thank you to everyone. I appreciate the performance. I look forward to continuing to work with you into the future. Thanks.
Thank you. Director Kavanaugh?
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, echoing what Eric and Craig just said, the challenges that our management team faces now has probably never been greater. And we don't probably take the opportunities that we should to voice our appreciation for your hard work, professionalism, leadership, and occasionally the patience you show some of us. It's very, very much appreciated. You do a great job. We're very proud to have you here. Our senior staff right now is as good as any I've had the opportunity, the privilege to work with. And my comments includes our CEO, Javier Fernandez, who's, for purposes of brevity, I'll make my comments right now. That you're right there with them, and I appreciate all you do as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board members? Director Howard?
Thank you, Director Corr. So normally I don't comment on my votes because I feel like my votes are speech and that's my way of speaking. But in this instance, I plan to abstain from this vote and the next one, mostly because I had a hard time rectifying raising salaries while we are raising rates on customers and offering budget cuts within the organization. And so looking at the organization globally, this question was just one where I came back from maternity leave and I was very clear that this was not something that I would be able to be voting for, regardless of the content, regardless of the performance, because I love our executives and I think they're doing a really great job. But I think we're looking down the barrel of a probable rate increase at the end of the year. And so it's just really hard for me to sort of do the math in my mind between all of those discordant ideas. And so for me, I'll plan on abstaining today for both votes, and I won't speak again on it, but that's sort of what I wanted to share where I was at. Thank you, Director Corr.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, I will echo those first comments of gratitude and appreciate all the work that goes into everything that you guys do to keep this place running. It's not lost on any of us, and it's certainly a difficult task that you guys navigate very well. So thank you. With that, are there any members of the public in the room that have comment on this action item? If you'd like to make a comment, please come to the podium.
And with my captain, it said you had up there performance reports. Are those public? Anyone see what you're actually doing? And then is it broken down what you're doing in that project? You had performance reports up on there. As a military guy from a long past, performance reports listed what you did. So you had performance reports. If you go back to the previous slide.
Yes, I understand now.
So are those public at all, or? So you really can't tell what they're doing for the raise they're getting? Just asking a question.
Sure. So I'll speak to there's internal policy that CEO Fernandez.
So they're
had
working on
to-
public projects, right? So we can see, oh yeah, this guy worked on 5, she worked on 3,
Yeah,
he worked on 7.
one second, sir. I'm gonna. Sure.
No,
so-
that's a question. Oh, if you want me to stop talking, I will. That's all right.
Oh, you're okay. I think if you make the comment, we could give you feedback after that comment's over, if that would work for you.
I just wondered because I
Sure.
saw performance reports. So what did you actually?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, please go ahead.
I understand the gentleman's comment, and the answer is that the Nebraska Public Records Act requires that salaries of executives are public. However, other parts of the personnel record are not public. So therefore, a performance evaluation would not be a public record that can be requested by members of the public. That's just how the Public Records Act works. For clarity, thank you.
Just a follow-up to that. I asked about the projects, though, that lead to the performance report, which means let's give them the raise. They're doing a great job, like you said.
So yeah, I think there's a number of projects that all these folks work on. So I'd be happy to talk further about that if it's acceptable, maybe after the meeting's over. Does that sound okay? All right, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. So and as CEO Fernandez points out, we utilize that structure, sir, by we have SDs, strategic directives that the board sets, that these folks need to meet. And we utilize SD monitoring reports to gauge their performance. And those are all public. So thank you.
Cheryl Weston, 1502 Fahey Drive, 68102. And I would like to thank you, Board Member Howard, for your comments, because I agree so wholeheartedly. For the board, and I'm not saying that any of those employees, vice president, aren't doing an excellent job, but we are in times now where your people who have power are having a hard time being able to pay their bills. You are probably going to give us another rate increase, and to give these people a significant raise from what they're already making is like a slap in the face to us. And I don't see how you can correlate all of the good things that Board Member Spurgeon said, maybe true or fact, but I wholeheartedly agree and I appreciate that. And I'm sure some of those who are listening and will be listening to my program after this, the video, will wholeheartedly agree with you. And thank you for making that public.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else in the room that has a comment on this item? Okay, seeing no other comments, Ms. Lane, is there anyone online? If you are a member of the public on WebEx and have a comment, please send a chat to the meeting host or use the hand raise feature in WebEx. Telephone users can press *3 to raise their hand. All right, thank you. Any directors that would like to make any further comment before the vote? All right, Ms. Lane, will you take the roll?
Wagner,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Core,
Yes.
Howard,
Abstain.
Hudson,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Spurgeon,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. The final discussion action item is item 14, CEO Performance Review and Compensation Adjustment, Resolution number 6726. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Omaha Public Power District that the compensation adjustment for the President and Chief Executive Officer, L. Javier Fernandez, as set forth on Exhibit A attached hereto, is hereby approved.
All right. Director Spurgeon.
Yes, thank you.
We have to have a motion in a second.
I move that resolution number 6726 be advanced.
And this needs a second, please.
Second.
That's all right. Well, at this time, I want to take just a moment to introduce, in case you haven't met, customer owners, your CEO and president. Javier Fernandez has served as president and chief executive officer of OPPD since 2021. He joined the utility in 2017 as vice president and chief financial officer. He is the person who leads, inspires, supports, and encourages the talented, highly qualified individuals and their teams whom I introduced to you earlier. In addition to his leadership work within OPPD, Mr. Fernandez currently serves as board chair of the Federal Reserve Bank in Kansas City, Omaha branch, vice chair of the Large Public Power Council, board chair of Habitat for Humanity, Omaha, and is a board member for Emeritus, Bellevue University, the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce, and the Axe-Sarbin Foundation. In addition, Mr. Fernandez regularly interacts with other local elected officials, state and national leaders when power and utility needs in our state are discussed. So we'll open it up and send it back to you, Chair Court.
All right, I appreciate that. Is there any board members that'd like to make a comment on this?
Sure, I'll go echo everything I said before with respect to the importance of good talent, great talent, and retaining as much. And I guess I will simply add on for me, as I think about OPPD, not a day goes by where I'm not both grateful, Javier, that you're in the role that you are, but I gain more respect for you and the work that you do every day. So this is a reasonable investment in the future of our utility. We have a great leader who's leading us today, and it's absolutely vital that we keep Javier in that role. So thank you for all the work, Javier.
Any other directors?
Yeah. Javier has been the leader that we needed at OPPD, and I continue to believe that he is the right leader that we need to continue to move the organization forward. With regards to compensation, we generally try and evaluate compensation for both the ELT and the CEO in comparison with others in the organization. And for clarity, the ELT and CEO compensation increases are aligned with what other employees across OPPD saw based on the increases we saw from cost of living or inflation within the last year and the continued excellent results that we see in the organization. Specifically for CEO Fernandez, financially, the organization has continued and accelerated growth since he took over as CEO a few years ago. Our credit rating continues to remain strong. Rates for residential, commercial, and industrial customers are not only competitive, but the gap by which we are lower than both regional and nationally similar utilities has widened each year. In terms of capacity and energy, OPPD is growing to meet the modern peak demand. We've seen an increase in that peak, I believe, each of the years that you've been CEO, and the rate of increase in peak has continued to accelerate as well. We've also seen, critically important to me, increased utilization across our system. And that helps to allocate the fixed costs of the system over a larger revenue base. That's a very small detail, but important to me in the systems committee. And we did talk recently about how beneficial that is to not only the larger customers, but to customers across the entire organization. And Javier has done a great job of recognizing the importance of that increased utilization and to lead his team to achieve those outcomes. The number of employees at OPPD has grown significantly, expanding into entirely new areas like AMI. When the board set extremely aggressive goals for deployment of new resources, Javier led OPPD to bring thousands of megawatts of new power online to meet the growing demand that we have in our community. These new resources have continued to bring down the carbon intensity. We have more power to meet growing demand, and that power is cleaner than ever. Between ELT and our CEO, we've had very positive results. And as we look forward, I want to make sure that we send a clear signal to the executives in the organization that when they achieve excellent results on behalf of the customer owners of OPPD, that is recognized and appreciated. And so I look forward to discussing, to approving this year and discussing how we will continue to send positive signals to our CEO and our executives in the future that we appreciate that excellent performance and we want to see more of that moving forward. So again, CEO Fernandez, thank you for everything you've done over the course of the last year and your tenure. And I look forward to continuing to work with you.
Thank you, Director Williams. Any other comments? All right. I would echo the same again. Thank you for your strong leadership and for your work. Are there any members of the public that have a comment on this agenda item?
David Bagley, 4611 South 96th Street. I have no problem with Javier's wage. Though I'm sure in the media it'll make a big headline, almost $1 million. Thankfully, it's not over $1 million. Some people get hung up on that, but considering that this is a $1.5 billion organization, that's well in line with the pay is in line with the responsibility. But the thing that strikes me, Director Williams talked about growth. Well, Net zero is a millstone around the neck of management in growing this utility. And just yesterday, Texas broke ground on a $25 billion data center project. Now, everything's bigger in Texas, but Nebraska, we can do something. And the data center growth has been really anemic here. And another thing is you're buying too much power from other utilities. And, you know, the shocker here, or this was something, I wish the media would broadcast this, because until I read it this week, I didn't know. OPPD is going to put in 4 new nat gas turbines, 3 at Cass County, 1 at Turtle Creek, 900 megawatts of reliable power, not this unreliable wind and solar that you keep contracting with NextEra. So again, economic growth, OPPD should be a main driver for that. And when you have this unreliable power, you can't bring in new industry. In fact, I heard David Levy of Barrett Home, somebody Steve Brucker and I both know, he's really the king of wind and solar. I heard him talk just this week, and he said, he said he knew of a big $1 billion investment from some ag company out in Western Nebraska. So MPPD has this problem too, and they can't meet the power demand. And I did that open records request, and you're getting all sorts of requests for power, and you can't meet it. So again, terminate your net zero policy and let management do a job and really grow the Omaha area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other comments in the room?
Cheryl Weston, 1501 Fahey Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68102. Again, I think Javier, and I've met him, talked with him personally. I think he is a great CEO, and he's been the best that OPPD has had in some time. That is not my issue. I have a feeling, just as I stated before, you are giving these rates or salary increases, and the customers, the everyday customers are the ones that will pay an increase. So that's the problem that I have, not to do with anything of the work that Javier has done and will, I feel confident will continue to do, whether he gets that raise or not, because it's just in him. But I just wanted to make sure it's clear that it is, I think it's inappropriate for the time that we are going through and with what the customers, your everyday customers, not commercial and big, are facing, but what we will face. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that'd like to make a comment in the room? Seeing none, any members of the public on WebEx have a comment, please send a chat to the meeting host or use the hand raise feature in WebEx. Telephone users can press *3 to raise their hand.
Shannon, excuse me, Shannon Ankeny.
If you can hear us, please begin. Yeah.
My apologies, we're having a little bit of a technical issue.
Let's try somebody else and see if it's our system.
Who else is in the room?
Anthony Rogers Wright.
Anthony, if you can hear me, please begin.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
And fantastic. Thank you. Anthony Karipa Rogers Wright, 3010 Lincoln Boulevard, Omaha, Nebraska. Thank you for the opportunity to make my comments this afternoon. I have to say that I agree with the remarks of Ms. Weston. At a time when it has been admitted that you are about to raise prices on people again, this sends a very, very, very bad signal. I will have to take umbrage with the idea that everything that OPPD and Mr. Hernandez has done has been in the interest of the people. As everybody knows, OPPD has reneged on its promise to either shut down or transition the North Omaha power plant, which has been ranked as one of the most environmentally racist power plants in the nation by NAACP in a report that they released called Cold Blooded. It seems to me that we can't keep promises to the public. The public should not be giving someone a salary that rivals that of some Fortune 500 companies. The last thing that I would like to say is that I also take umbrage with Mr. Williams's remark about carbon intensity. You have to notice that he didn't say carbon emissions, he said carbon intensity. This idea that switching to frack gas, AKA natural gas, is better for the environment or cleaner has been refuted and broken down by many, many, many scientists. The reason why Mr. Williams said carbon intensity is because that is a way to make frack gas, when it is burned, seem more innocuous. When we know that when frack gas is released into the atmosphere, it is 80 times more heat trapping than carbon dioxide. And as a matter of fact, when Mr. Williams says carbon intensity, we have to ask, is he using the 100-year model or the 25-year model? If you're using the 100-year model, you are not actually accounting for the full carbon intensity of methane or frack gas. So I have to take massive umbrage, and I agree with the gentleman that when this gets released to the public, it is not going to be received really, really well. I would posit that since public power is making private deals with data centers, perhaps they can handle the salary increases of the executive committee and the president. So I have to say, thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you for your comments. Ms. Lane, any other people in the room?
No other comments, but we think maybe the other commenter might have done it by accident. So
Okay. Are we comfortable with that? Okay. Thank you. Are there any directors that would like to make further comment before? All right, Ms. Lane, will you take the vote, please?
Bogner,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Core,
Yes.
Howard,
Abstain.
Hudson,
Yes.
Moody,
Yes.
Spurgeon,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay, thank you. Now I'll turn it over to CEO Fernandez for his president's report.
Thank you, Chair Core. I'm going to put my microphone a little closer because I think the volume in the room is a little lower. So hopefully you can hear me back in the room. Okay, I'm going to project my voice to make sure that everybody hears. Thank you. It is my pleasure to present the President's report. As it was alluded earlier, we skipped a month. The month of July, we didn't have a meeting as we've done in the past couple of years. We have a lot to catch up, and I'm going to try to make it brief. As I always report, the month of July, baseload generation, the power plants performed exactly as they were expected to perform. We did have an extended outage at Nebraska City Unit 2, and that's why you see a very low capacity factor of 6%. That unit was out of service for the most of the month of July. It did come back on service on July 29th, just in time to meet the heat, the load requirements that our customer owners were requiring at that moment. If you remember, the last few days of July were very hot. The system was stressed, and we were all very glad to see that unit come back online just in time to meet those requirements. On our balancing generation, the next portion of our fleet, we've been busy, and it's not unusual. We expect to be busy at this time of the year. We have very high demands on the system. It's running air conditioning units, and that takes a lot of power. At the same time, we have the variability of renewable resources, which I'm going to talk about that later on. We absolutely need all the energy we get from wind and solar. These units come in really handy to help us balance that load. And that's why we refer to them as balancing generation. We used to refer to them as peaking generation, but it's no longer, they no longer just operate at the peak. They operate year round, all day long to help us balance those needs. Yeah, you can see here higher capacity factors than usual. We usually see very low, 0 to 2% capacity factors in the shoulder months in the spring and fall. This time around, they operated a little bit higher. I would say quite a bit higher than in previous years. You can see those numbers on the screen. I'm not going to read them all out, but I will note Turtle Creek Station. Turtle Creek Station, and I have another slide later on to talk about that station. It came commercially available, operational on June 17th, and not even a month later. In fact, the day it became operational, the Southwest Power Pool called on that resource. Really just a testament to our resource planners who knew that that station in that location was sorely needed, and certainly the market has been proving that. It's been called quite a bit. Has a very high capacity factor of 26%, and it has been helping the entire region and certainly our customer owners. Our North Omaha units all ran. I want to call out also North Omaha Unit 3 was called out quite a bit, again, to help us balance the region and balance the power needs for the region. One last thing that I want to point out here, and I think I've mentioned this in recent board meetings, I have a lot of pride in seeing the health of this fleet. We had a couple of years where not all of these units were available or ready when we needed them. And so through the leadership of Troy Vai and his team, we've had them all available, even though some of them have low capacity factors of 8%. That doesn't mean that they were not ready. They were ready and available, and that's a testament to the work that your team has done, Troy. Thank you. The last and very important part of our portfolio to round the diversity of our resources is our renewable generation. Our capacity factor for all renewable energy, which includes hydro, that's important here, has 35.9% capacity factor, solar 29%. Of course, as the days are long, we have a lot more irradiance, and solar capacity increased from what we saw in the spring months to 29%. Our capacity factor for Platteview Solar, which is our largest solar array, 81 megawatts of total maximum output, was 32.3%, and capacity factor of wind was 31.4%, very strong. Sometimes too strong of winds that causes a lot of other problems on the distribution side, but very grateful to have those resources that help us balance the needs of our customers along with the other parts of our generation fleet. Next, I am very proud. We don't do this very often. I had the pleasure on June 17th. I made a phone call that I have never made before, and I called our board chair and I said, Mr. Chair, I am happy to report that we have a brand new power plant online. And it wasn't a surprise because we've been working on this for many years, but seeing that power plant come online and register with NERC, with the MRO, and ready to inject electrons into the grid was incredibly important. Just a quick journey through time. These plans started with many people working at OPPD back in 2017, 18, planning, dreaming about these, looking at the load growth we were having. Board of Directors approved this investment in 2019. It took us 6 years to see these through. And that's, again, it's just a demonstration of how complex these type of projects are, and bringing these new generation online takes time, but I'm super proud of that. You can see some of the statistics on the screen. Total is 450 megawatts. It consists of 2 units of 225 megawatts each. These are we also have backup fuel. So the main fuel for this station is natural gas, and it has backup fuel and as fuel oil in the remote case when natural gas is not available. We need to make sure that we have that unit accredited during those times. Something very important here, and we were talking about the balancing generation, how they balance renewable generation and other generation in the footprint. The speed at which these units come online is incredibly important. It's not only just magnitude, 450 megawatts, but we can bring 450 megawatts online to the grid in less than 11 minutes. And that is incredibly important. Our operators are happy with that, and the Southwest Power Pool is very excited about that. It makes a big difference. Just a little drum roll. We're going to have another one of these in the next few months. We have yet another power plant coming in. I don't want to jinx ourselves, so I'm going to save that for whenever that comes online, but very excited about the progress we're making, bringing all this new generation that Director Williams referred to earlier. Next slide. Director Moody, you are right. We have been breaking records every year, virtually every year since I was appointed CEO. For the longest time, we spent about a decade parked at very close to 2,400, 2,468 megawatts. We measure, there are many different ways in which we measure a utility, but probably one of the most common ones is how many megawatts do we need at the peak of the year, when the 5 minutes of the day, of the month, when all air conditioning units are running, when all manufacturing outfits are using that power. What is that peak of maximum power output? And that is very important because we have to build everything. We have to have infrastructure ready to meet that peak. Even though our customer owners don't use that energy all the time, we have to be built for that. Director Williams talked about the efficient use of our resources, and that is very, very important to make sure that we have an efficient use of resources, machines that we're using all the time, also so that we can meet that peak. That peak has been growing at about 100 megawatts or so every year. What you're seeing here is the summer peak. We're not showing the winter peak, which is another conversation for another day. But on June 25th, between 4 and 5 p.m., we broke yet another peak at 2,897 megawatts. When you compare where we started just 4 years ago in 2021 to today, we are at about 500 megawatts more of energy. And that's, again, all the work that all the 2,200 women and men at OPPD have dedicated their work days to do is serve our existing customers and continue to fuel the economy by providing the electric power that our users need. Very proud about these. This is one of those graphs that give me a lot of satisfaction, and at the same time make me skip a beat a little bit because it's a lot, and we're trying to do our best to meet this continued growth. The next slide, I had an opportunity. It was an honor for me to be representing OPPD. We were nominated by employees. We have Navy Employer Recognition Awards. We have Navy reservists that we hire at OPPD. And it's very important for us to have this coordination with the Navy, where we are hiring amazing talent from the Navy. They are reservists. And so we have to also provide them with the flexibility that they need when they're called back to duty to go help and in their capacity as Navy reservists. I had an opportunity to be there and receive this award on behalf of OPPD. It was an honor for me to be there, and just to show that really we have a commitment and we honor our community. And this is one way for us to show that the honor our community, especially our military community, is strong at OPPD. This is not something that we sought out. This was our employees nominating for that. So to me, that it has a double meaning for me of pride. The next slide, our community resource fair. As you know, we have been hosting community resource fairs all across our service territory. We've done many in North Omaha, South Omaha, etc. This one was an interesting one. It's the first one where we've gone down to Nemaha County. We held our community fair on Thursday, July 24th at the Nemaha County Fair grounds in Auburn. Just like other community resource fairs, the purpose of this event was to reach low to moderate income customers that live in the southernmost part of our service territory about all the services that we can provide and our partnering agencies can provide. It's not just us, it's Habitat for Humanity, it's many other organizations that can provide in one place a lot of other services and answer questions of our customer owners. Again, about 10 nonprofits throughout the area joined us to help with this community resource fair. They continue to be very well attended, and we will continue to make these happen. They have proven to be a very good resource to our customer owners and for us to really reach out. Those customer owners who normally wouldn't have the time, they're working, they have other duties during the day, we make sure that we go to their neighborhood, to where they work, live, and play. Next, showcasing our employees, our workforce, our employees throughout the district volunteer with the United Way of the Midlands at their annual Shine Bright event held on August. It was 3 days, August 6th through the 8th. Our OPPD employees and many other volunteers across the region helped assemble hygiene kits that are distributed by social workers, school counselors, and school nurses to local school children. You can see here a few pictures. We have a policy at OPPD where we allow employees, and we have paid time off for employees to help in the community. This is a good way for us to also learn about the community, learn about our customer owners, what their needs are, and at the same time participate in the community events and really forge even stronger relationships with the communities we serve. Last and certainly not least, this is a good reminder always at my president's report to talk about those who are no longer here with us. The work that we do can be dangerous, can be hazardous, and we have a very healthy culture of safety. However, we do have many people who have lost their life in the line of duty. In this case, Christopher Merrill, who died on February 23rd, 1990, as a result of an electrocution that occurred while he was working near 23rd and Gregg Road in Bellevue. Chris was 29 and had been with OPPD only 2 years. Chris was described as an exemplary employee and the perfect example of the type of person you like to have working with you. He was survived by his parents, 4 brothers, and 6 sisters. And with that, I conclude my president's report.
All right, thank you. Now is the time for public comment on other items of district business. If there's any members of the public in the room that have a comment on other items of district business, please come to the podium, state your name, address, and any organization you might represent.
This thing working? David Bagley, 4611 South 96th Street. In July, the Department of Energy issued 2 very interesting reports, and I wanted to call the board's attention to them. First one is captioned, Department of Energy releases report on evaluating U.S. grid reliability and security. And it goes on, the Department of Energy warns that blackouts could increase by 100 times in 2030 if the U.S. continues to shutter reliable power sources and fails to add additional firm capacity. And so the people at the Department of Energy looked at the different power pools, and for Southwest Power Pool, it says, well, you're not in such good shape. And it says adequacy was preserved through reliance on imports. And what that is, you're relying on the kindness of strangers. Yeah, there's a money exchange going on, but if it becomes between them keeping their lights on and importing power to OPPD, I know what they're going to do. And then it says these shortfalls are concentrated in the northern subregion. That's OPPD, which lacks the firm generation and import capacity needed to meet peak winter demand. Boy, I don't want to ever see any blackout in the winter, the whole district, and people are out on the cold, hard prairie. It's tough out there. And it says they need 1,500 megawatts of additional perfect capacity by 2030. So I'm glad you're doing that 900 megawatts, but I don't know if it's going to take 6 or 7 years. The other one, this is a great report. And it just blows up that whole consensus on climate change. And this report is dated July 29th. And OPPD can submit a public comment. And the report is summarized among the key findings. The report concludes that CO2-induced warming appears to be less damaging economically than commonly believed, and that aggressive mitigation strategies, that means net zero, may be misdirected. Additionally, the report finds that U.S. policy actions are expected to have undetectably small direct impacts on the global climate, and any effects will emerge only with long delays. You know, and I've told you many, many times, China and India, they're building
30
coal-fired
seconds.
power plants left and right. What happens in the United States doesn't make one bit of difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else that'd like to make a comment?
Good afternoon. My name is William Bevins. I'm from, my address is 7900 North 148th Street, Waverly, Nebraska, 68462. I'm loosely associated with Conservation Nebraska and Bold, Nebraska. I'm actually here to support the community of North Omaha that has to live near your coal power generation plant. And I understand that your plan to terminate or close down that plant has potentially been delayed and may be delayed further. And I would just urge you in the strongest terms possible to not delay the closing of that plant. And just as you're all very aware and has been discussed already, there's all kinds of really viable alternatives to running that coal generation plant. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else in the room?
Good evening. My name is Terrell McKinney. I live at 5319 North 30th Street, Omaha, Nebraska. I just wanted to come on behalf of Bold Alliance, as I am the Land Justice Director, and just try to encourage the board and the staff to keep your promise to close the coal plant in 2026. And I just also wanted you to kind of be aware of a survey that we did in June and July through Bold, and some of the top takeaways from that was from the community was a prevalence of environmental concerns, especially odors and air quality. The next was negative or stagnant perception of environmental health because of the coal plant in North Omaha. And the last, and I think the most important, is a strong perception of unfair treatment and a lack of adequate community engagement with the North Omaha community. We also did a petition with the community, and we got 160 people to sign the petition to encourage you all to keep your promise to close the coal plant as well. And with that, thank you.
All right, thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
I forgot one thing. As it was earlier, Cheryl Weston, 1501 Fahey Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68102. As it was stated earlier, you are all believe in the core values of the Omaha Public Power District, OPPD, having a passion to serve, honoring their community, and caring about each other. These values emphasize a strong commitment to serving their customers, their owners. With that said, as a longtime North Omaha resident who has advocated for the closing of the North Omaha OPPD coal plant, I have noted the OPPD committee slide, which you see, that the executive administration team appears to be implementing concrete strategies to stop coal operation in the fourth quarter of 2026 as promised. I'm being encouraged by the slide, and I stand before you today to request the elected OPP Board of Directors to support and mandate that the Omaha PPD executive team administration to live up to OPPD's promise to cease operations in 2026 on units 4 and 5 at the North Omaha coal plant. I am requesting that the OPPD Board of Directors continue to monitor the executive team in their outlined 2025 efforts, as in the slide, to fulfill that pledge to cease operations of units 4 and 5 at the North Omaha coal plant. And as I say, CEO Javier, you were excited, you say, to call your chair and say that we have a new Turtle Creek station come online. Let me be here to clear today. If you were excited, we will be tripled excited in North Omaha when we receive a call and the news media says OPPD has fulfilled their 2026 commitment to close the units 4 and 5 at the North Omaha coal plant. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you for your comments. If there's anybody else in the room, please come to the podium.
Ryan Wishart. Nope. Ryan Wishart, 912 North 49th Street, Omaha, Nebraska. Public power is more important today than ever as budget cuts and policy changes at the state and federal level are threatening protections and resources OPPD's customer owners depend on for affordable, reliable, and sustainable electricity. The current administration has asked Congress for the elimination of LIHEAP and weatherization assistance programs that Nebraskans depend on. If these programs are eliminated or reduced, we are fortunate that OPPD already has its own programs like the Customer Assistance Program and EEAP, whereas other utilities are totally reliant on state programs and subsist on those federal funds alone. On top of that loss of federal support, the New York Times reported last week, data centers are projected to increase residential bills by as much as 25% in Virginia and have already added at least $15 a month to residents in Ohio. Public power can protect residents from bearing those kinds of cost shifts rather than facilitating them as for-profit utilities have done. I appreciate OPPD continues research and communicating to the public and policymakers how large the scale of unmet need for low-income assistance in home efficiency to save energy and pay their bills is. It's far larger than all the programs OPPD and the state and the city of Omaha together have today. I hope in the event of shortfalls in federal and state support, others will look to OPPD programs to expand their own. OPPD's household level calculations of energy burden can be invaluable for helping community partners like United Way reach the most vulnerable households more quickly. The people of the district care about their neighbors and have voted for board members to prioritize affordable and clean energy. The net zero and environmental justice goals set by the board and are beginning to be implemented reflect what academic surveys like Yale's E360 tell us about the majority of people in the district. They want to see more action on climate from local officials, and they have even larger, broader support for a transition to clean energy by 2050. Even when national commitments waver and roll back public health protections, public power serves the people of the district. And evidence is constituents still want the same things they elected board members to do. As the federal government is trying to break its promises to farmers and low-income households for REAP and solar for all grants, and is raising electrical bills by mandating both more costly and more polluting energy, often against the objections of utilities, transmission authorities, and others, we're lucky to have public power and need OPPD to fight to hold true to its promises to customer owners to reflect their values more than ever. These failures at higher levels of government are making it harder for OPPD to do this. But because of that, the need for putting research and plans OPPD has been working on
30
into action are greater than ever. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else in the room that'd like to make a comment? All right, seeing no one move into the room. Ms. Lane, is there anybody on WebEx that has a comment?
Anthony Rogers Wright.
Anthony, if you can hear me, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Anthony Rogers Wright, 3010 Lincoln Boulevard, Omaha, Nebraska. I think it's very important to report to the very interesting comments made by Mr. Bagley. I have to say that taking advice from this administration's Department of Energy, which is bankrolled by the fossil fuel industry, Taking advice from them on climate change would be like asking David Duke and George Wallace for advice on how to best deracinate racism and white supremacy. The bottom line is this. The United States accounts for 11 to 15% of global greenhouse gas emissions, even though it only makes up 5% of the global population. Renewable energy sources, including solar and wind, are cheaper than fossil fuel sources. This is a fact. And for all this talk about how fossil fuel resources are more reliable, ask the people of Texas what happened 2 years ago during a major ice storm where all the natural gas facilities shut down and the battery storage from solar and wind is what kept people's lights on. As it pertains to the North Omaha power plant, OPPD must understand that right now you are complicit in environmental racism and exacerbating the climate crisis. Those of us who actually do work in climate justice and climate action have a simple saying. You cannot have climate change without fossil fuel emissions. You can't have fossil fuel emissions without sacrifice zones like North Omaha. And you can't have sacrifice zones without racism. It is time for OPPD to keep its promises to poor Black, Brown, Indigenous, and other poor people who live in that district and shut this plant down. Not just transition it to frack gas, because that is also still going to exacerbate the climate crisis and make OPPD still complicit with environmental racism. It is incumbent upon you to follow the science. The Trump administration is not following science, neither is Mr. Bagley. So please keep your promises, or the people are definitely going to rise up, as Senator McKinney just named, and as Ms. Wesson just named. We are not going to allow ourselves to be choked out by toxic policies, toxic police, and toxic emissions moving forward. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your comments. Ms. Lane, is there anybody else online?
David Corbin.
All right, sir, if you can hear me, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. David Corbin, 1002 North 49th Street, Omaha, representing the Nebraska Sierra Club. I won't repeat what I said at the comment section of the all committee meeting, other than to say, as a matter of fact, right now, as I'm on giving my comments, there's a upcoming segment on Channel 3 about the North Omaha coal plant. Obviously, you've heard enough to know that people are concerned about it. They're concerned that promises kept once will not be kept again. And reference was made earlier to the In Cold Blood study, and there will be another study coming out very soon in which it will talk about the health effects of coal plants. And obviously, as you've heard earlier, affects communities like North Omaha, which have high levels of asthma and so on. So it is very important that you stay with the promise. It just came on right now on the TV, so everybody watch it tonight. And realize that I'm a public health professional, so the health effects are very important to me and to the community. And so please keep those in mind as you move forward. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Ms. Lane, anyone else?
John Pollock.
All right, sir, if you can hear me, please go ahead.
12 North 35th Street, Omaha, 68131. First, along with many of the speakers in the room and several others, I encourage OPPD to keep their promise to shut down the coal plant on schedule. As far as the weather goes, what we saw this summer was kind of interesting. Our temperatures overall, both here and the rest of the Midwest, have been rising rather slowly in the summer season compared to some other places. However, what is happening is the humidity is increasing. More of the extra energy in the atmosphere is going into evaporating water, and that becomes available in the form of severe weather and thunderstorms on occasion. and certainly oppressive, unusually high summer humidity. The outlook is we're going to see a rather fast change here. We're going to get a taste of fall coming starting this weekend, lasting till the middle of next week. Overall, we are in a dry pattern. Northwest flow aloft means that we won't have very many opportunities for precipitation, but what we do get is liable to have some wind behind it because we've got jet streams starting to enter the picture, and dry air aloft provides opportunity for strong downbursts. Getting later into the fall season, it's looking like we have probably slightly above better odds than even for somewhat above normal temperatures, but the situation is not overwhelming. Rather like the last few years, we've tended to have cold weather entering the northern plains from Canada relative to normal, and warm air persisting in the southern states relative to normal. And we end up in that in-between zone once again, probably with a little tilt toward above normal temperature odds. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lane. Is there anyone else online?
Grace Kelly.
Hey, go ahead, please, if you can hear me.
Grace Kelly, and I live at 3308 North 53rd Street. And I'm here to speak also about the North Omaha coal plant. And I want to first point out the environmental impact of the pollution that's been outlined by Senator McKinney and also by many others who have spoken today. I fully support decommissioning this plant on schedule and fully oppose any plans to keep it operational past 2026. Based on the hazardous effects to neighboring communities. Second, I also want to question the potential motives for keeping the plant open, which is perhaps a larger issue, but I'd like to know why we as citizens are subsidizing the enormous power demand of private companies like Google and Meta and their data centers in our area. And I would like to request an inquiry or study into rising energy demand from data centers and potential rising costs, which we actually have mentioned tonight that there will be rising costs for local consumers. I think we deserve to know more about how our power bills and our grid are impacted by private business interests. It also seems that these are the same business interests that are trumping public safety with environmental concerns that we have mentioned tonight about the North O coal plants. I am a former statistics professor at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and I currently work in a data analytics and research role. And so honestly, I would be happy to conduct a study such as this myself. If there's any possibility to partner with the city or county to look into these matters, please let me know and I will provide you with my contact information. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other online comments?
No more comments.
Okay, seeing none, it looks like we have one more comment in the room. Go ahead, please.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Renteria, 4334 South 26th Street. I specifically wanted to come up and address CEO Javier Fernandez here. I know that this may seem like something that's been brought up over and over again, but I was sitting over there and I was going to comment, but I saw you roll your eyes when Anthony Rogers Wright was introduced over WebEx, and on the same night that I saw it. You don't have to furrow your brow at me. On the same night that you were given a raise and you were shouting out your employees for their connection to the community, I don't think that's appropriate. I hope that you work on your tact. Again, you don't need to furrow your brow at me. People are concerned about the relationship that OPPD has with the community because it is a public entity. Nebraska is unique in the way it has public power. So again, I don't want to address it, but please understand that these are real concerns. People live in the community, they have real asthma, real conditions, and whether it's unleaded gas becoming a thing and crime coming down, there are different consequences long-term to some of these health impacts. So please just keep that in mind and please continue to work with the community moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Are there any directors that'd like to make comments before we close for the day? All right, seeing no comments, we are adjourned at 6:20. Thank you. You all have a great night.